Since we are at 2, I think we can get started. We're going to start with brief stuff so you can continue eating. I will make you introduce yourself because I feel like this is a great time to do introductions because I love all of the people here and I want to really know their name. I mean, there's like maybe 3 people out of everyone I don't know their names, and that's too many. Hi everyone, I'm sure most of you know me. I'm Cale Merdzinski, president of Student Alliance this year. I'm a student, a sophomore here at Grand Rapids Community College, and I plan to transfer out to GVSU next fall. I recently got accepted, so that's a done, set deal. I'm real excited. Oh, thank you, Druin. Dude, I really appreciate that. But I did want to do introductions if you guys are so kind. I think we'll start right with Carrie, because I'm not going to start with Tatum this time around. I feel like I put her on the spot for everything. Do you just want to say your name and possibly anything else, fun facts, where you're going next year, what you're doing for a major, anything you care about?
Okay.
Want a microphone?
Sure, why
All
not?
the way around.
All right, a lot of you guys know me, but I am Carrie Rister. So next year I'm going to be dual enrolled here in Ferris for computer information systems, so yay.
Yeah, a lot of you probably don't know me, but I'm Charlie Bushman. Next year I'm going to be most likely fully enrolled in Ferris State for computer information systems. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Connor Kasuba. I'm the president of Psi Beta here at GRCC. I plan on transferring to Northern Michigan University for next fall.
I'm Theodore Bigelow. I am the treasurer of Standout, and I am currently dual enrolled at Calvin and here. I'm in my 5th year. So.
I'm Malcolm Mucha. I am the secretary of Standout, and I'll be right here next year too, so sup.
My name is Dylan Evans. I am the vice president of Be Nice. I will be here for another year and transferring out to political science.
Sure, that's loud. Okay. My name is Denny Reyes. I am the president of Grand Rapids Community College Young Life, and I am planning on going to Grand Valley in the fall and go for nursing.
I am Alan Perez, and I am currently studying for sports management, and I'm part of the HSO.
Can you pass it back to Josue behind you?
Hey, I'm Josue Kisile, the president of the Collegiate Association for the Research of Principals, and I'm majoring in public administration. Thank you.
I'm Bree. I'm president of CAB, and I'm planning on going to GB next year.
My name is Druin. I am the president of NASO. I am aiming for Michigan. I'm a film major.
My name is Morgan Brown. I am the current chapter president and Michigan regional president for Phi Theta Kappa. I'm currently studying photography and won't need to transfer because GRCC's photography program is amazing.
My name is Ryan. I apologize, I have a cold. I'm currently a poli-sci and history major here at GRCC. I don't really know where my education is going to be taking me, but in the fall semester I am taking that off to run for Michigan State Senate.
Hi, I'm Tatum. I'm the Vice President and External Affairs Director for the Student Alliance.
2 more people that we missed right at the start. Oh, and Casey.
I mean, I don't.
Then sit down the mic.
My name's Luis. Through sheer coincidence, I rose to the ranks of vice president in the GRCC Anime Club, and I am stuck in this place for the foreseeable future.
Hello, everyone. My name is KZ, and yes, my name is KZ, and I'm transferring to GV for criminal justice.
I'm Dominic Kenny, current president for the Anime Club, and currently through Ferris and GRCC at the same time through software engineering.
Nice. That went by pretty fast. So just to recap the stuff I've mentioned since I got here, we have 4 sheets of paper up there. Please have all of them if you can. There's 2 extra allocation requests. There is our agenda for today, which will outline what we're doing. And then we have 1 last sheet, which is kind of like a student reach out. We're really trying to get more information about who you guys are, what you're interested in, and how we can better serve you in that sense. So please go grab all of those if you don't have them right now. And then I believe we still have our attendance sheet going around. Yeah, I see it right at this table. We'll have to send it another round around the table, but that's okay. If you already signed it, just pass it down again when you get it again. Cool. So now that introductions are done, I'd love to introduce Hilda, and I don't want to mess up your last name. Gutierrez. Hilda Martinez. Yeah, absolutely. There's someone logged in, but you can go online and just pull up whatever you'd like, and then I'll pull it on the presentation. Yeah, no problem. Just create a new tab so we don't exit out of Anime Club's thing.
Yeah, I don't want to type the third character password a second time, I'll be honest with you.
So let me give you guys an idea of what we're doing today. That way, no one's surprised by anything, and if you have to leave early, you know what you missed, and then maybe you can ask anyone else in here to fill you in. So right at the start, Hilda's going to lead us through a brief presentation and talk about something really interesting we have going on at the college. I don't know if all of you are aware, but I know some of you are trained already in this sense. But there's a group called the QPR Institute, and the QPR Institute stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. And it's a group meant to train students on how to be better observers, really, to help their peers and make sure that mental health and suicide awareness, and give all of the students these training in those two topics so that they can identify when one of their fellow students or someone that they meet, anyone really, is struggling through something. And you can identify it right away and give them the help they need so that honestly, nothing tragic will happen. So she can go more into that. The rest on our agenda, we have 2 extra allocation requests. We're going to start with the extra allocation from Psi Beta since we tabled that last meeting. Wow, it's already 4 weeks ago. Wow, I haven't seen you guys for a month in here.
Well,
Oof, I've seen some of you since then. Yeah, like last week. So Psi Beta will start us off with that extra allocation after the presentation. And we have the typical 10 minutes, 5 minutes to present, 5 minutes for questions. And then we have an extra allocation from Anime Club that you guys haven't seen before. You can take a second to review the 2 extra allocations in front of you if you want to have more information once those presentations start. And that's all of the extra allocation business we have going on today. We have one more that our team's reviewing. It's from the library. If you remember last semester, we did a finals relaxers extra allocation, or we approved one, which essentially just let the library purchase food for students during their finals relaxers. I believe last semester it was 800. And we're currently reviewing one in our e-board that's going to be 900. So I'll update you guys next meeting about how that goes and whether that's approved or not. We tabled it at our last e-board because we ran out of time. So I'm going to do a brief presentation after all of the extra allocations. I'm going to talk about important stuff that I know all of you might be interested in, give you updates on what we've talked about in the past, things like our Scholar Fest 2018, things like our extra allocation from Student Alliance that unfortunately has a few changes that are important to know about. And then the last thing is going to be a few club comments that have to do with the sheet I gave you to fill out. What else? So if you haven't already looked at that sheet that asks for your personal information, I'm not going to share it with anyone. If you feel uncomfortable answering those questions, I'm sorry. I'm just honestly asking it because we want to help and we want to have a really good idea of who we're working with. And we want to have a really good idea of how that's going to play into next year. All of this is part of my master plan to have good succession planning and have a really strong organization retention rate next year. So next fall, I want every single person in this room, every one of their organizations to succeed and continue to thrive. I think I'll end it there, and I'll pass the mic over to Hilda. Here you go. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I want to just briefly talk about this QPR training that Kale so graciously introduced about. So before we get started, hi, I'm Hilda, the grant coordinator. So GRCC received the 3-year suicide prevention grant. We are in year 2 of that 3 years. Hard to believe that next September this grant is over. But before it is over, we want to work on some important things, right? Creating some policy at the college, working towards creating a comprehensive crisis response plan for our institution. And what does that mean, right? That means actually having something formally stated, a guideline that you as students know that if you're faced with a crisis or if you have a fellow classmate that is going through something tough, that you know exactly what to do and where to go and numbers on campus and staff members in place, right? But also something that our faculty and staff members can have as well. Another important goal that we have is that awareness piece, and we do that through our training. So QPR, Question, Persuade, Refer, is one of our suicide prevention trainings that is predominantly used across higher ed institutions across our country, and GRCC decided to do the same thing and to go with that particular training. So I'd like to formally invite all of you all that if you have the time to please register. I created a Google Doc format, a sign-up sheet for student organizations. Now, Kale signed Student Alliance up for 2 particular dates. So on March 29th, again, from 2 till however long that takes, I will be here to have a QPR training for you all. And then also on April 12th, we will have another QPR training in which I will facilitate that. And it's very engaging. When we talk about suicide, it's a sensitive topic. It's heavy, right? That's not a light topic when we think about it, but it's important to have, right? Because suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst college students. And you all are current college students, so this is a very important topic, right? Talking about mental health, what is it, how you take care of it, because you all are juggling a lot of things. You just are not college students, right? Your brothers, your sisters, your daughters, sons, right? Husbands, wives, parents in here. And so we have to understand that as human beings, as college students, right? We wear multiple hats, and to juggle all of that can be stressful. So we'll have those type of discussions. We'll dive into some suicide statistics, because there's a lot of stuff that's out there. A lot of stuff, right? A lot of information about suicide, not necessarily all true. So we'll dive into that, but also just have important conversations about how you can take care of yourselves, right? So that while you're at GRCC, you know that you are supported, you know that there are people in place. So when you transfer out, or when you are done here, whatever your particular individual path is, that we know that you have been taken care of, right? That we give you the tools to take care of yourselves for when you move on. So please know that if this is something that you're interested in, and you would like to bring this information back to your specific student organizations, please do so, right? Because particularly for the grant, we want to hit, I think, over 1,000 individuals. That means students, faculty, and staff per academic year. So I'm trying to get up there with our numbers, but when we talk about student organizations, you all are a large group here on campus. We can't overlook you. We cannot overlook you all, right? Because you're staying as active as you can be, you're checking into your Student Alliance meetings, you're going back to your own individual chapter meetings. So please, if you are interested, Kale will make sure that you get the link to the Google Doc link to this particular form. Sign your organizations up, or you can invite them to the 2 scheduled Student Alliance QPR trainings. So does anyone have any particular questions?
I do,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I was already QPR certified with you, but I don't know actually how many of our group in Be Nice is certified.
Yeah.
So is it a thing that I can come back with our group and certify? I don't need to be certified
yeah.
again, obviously, but
Sure.
is it cool that I come back?
Yeah, come
Okay.
back again. Let's bring other members from our organization. So back to the certification piece, right? You all get to be certified as gatekeepers. And what does that mean? That means that through this training, you will all develop a sense of awareness. What we want you to do and become is conscious human beings, that if you see something, you say something, right? So I don't want to go too deep into it, because I'll get started and I'll give you a background story about that on the day of the training. But just know that to sit into a gatekeeper training, especially QPR, this is something that you can add to your resumes. You will have a certification that you get to keep, write your name on it, add it to your place of work, add it to your home, wherever you like. Put it in a public place to let other people know that you've been QPR Gatekeeper certified. So good question, Dylan. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions about that? Yeah.
The 2 up there, are those going to be different meetings, or is there just going to be the
Same
same
trainings.
thing? Okay.
Same trainings. Good question. Yep. So that'll give other members an opportunity if on March 29th, if not all the members of your organization could be here on that day, then you have the April 12th date to extend and have more come as well.
Okay. And approximately how long were you going to make the training?
Yeah, so typically this is what, an hour, 30 minutes for Student Alliance meetings? So I will take up the whole time. I will take up the whole hour and 30 minutes. Yep. And we do this inside classrooms, so typically, maybe some of you may have seen me or the other QPR instructors. We have 7 more QPR certified instructors here on campus. You may have seen me in your classrooms or someone else. So if you sat on in this particular training, but you still want to be a part of it, please come back. Again, I'm definitely always adding new additional information to the QPR PowerPoint to make it more engaging, right? I want to make it relevant, that after you're done here, after you sat through a QPR training, that you know what it's about, that you feel confident that you're able to go back out to your campus community and you know what to do in case something happens. So
it's really quite the interesting training too. Like, they give you a lot of information. I got business cards that have all of the numbers I could ever want, like resources that I can reach out for the suicide hotline, resources on campus, off campus, everything you can think about to either help yourself or help someone that you realize is struggling through a crisis, like she mentioned. This document, like she said, is going to be given out to all of you with the sign-in sheet. Since I'll know all of your names, we'll take emails from that, and then I'll send it out to each and every one of you. What I hope to get off of that is, if any of you are interested to bring a QPR training to one of your meetings, to have your general members or your e-board get QPR trained, absolutely sign in on here, and then say one of your meeting dates, where you're going to be meeting, information like that. And then we can schedule a training so that you can give that opportunity to the students involved with you guys. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful chance to really learn more about this and get it from a professional, so you feel like a professional when it comes to suicide prevention. Can't emphasize that enough.
So if you decide to do a separate date than the 2 that are already scheduled during the Student Alliance meetings, you can schedule it. Typically, this is for an hour, no less than an hour. But if you need more than that, we can extend it as well. So that's the good thing about QPR, right? It's about having an informal discussion about it, so we can make it as long as we need to be. But if for the minimum time requirement, make it at least 1 hour.
So both of these dates are future Student Alliance meetings. I do believe that one of them might change, because I'm hoping to have one of our meetings, either the collaborative coming up or the town hall coming up, be dedicated to something like this, because I feel like it's really important for all of you student leaders to be trained in this type of aspect. So having your attendance requirement to come here and having you required to get trained is important to me. And I hope that you see the benefit in it and that you see why I would want something like that to happen. But I believe one of these might be changed to accommodate other schedules or people that can't make this time slot, but that's to be determined. For now, I do believe the 3/29 is a great date to do this. That's our upcoming town hall for this month. There's so much going on that day that I'll touch on that a bit later with our updates about all the events happening with our student leadership banquet, the workshops happening that morning, and of course this QPR training. But I'll touch back on that later, like I said.
Yes, I want to thank you, Kale, for helping me organize this. I truly appreciate it. And if anyone else have any questions, please let Kale know. Dylan is Vice President of Be Nice. He can always pass along my information, or if you have any questions for him directly, please let him know. Any other additional questions? All right, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, Hilda. So again, I'll get that information sheet, that link to all of you through a follow-up email after this meeting. To retouch on the few things I said before this started, there's 4 documents up here that you'll want to grab. We have 2 extra allocation requests, our agenda, and a sheet that we want you to sign in on, or fill out, sorry. Please make sure to grab all of those. And I'm about to send the sign-in sheet around one more time, so if you didn't have a chance to sign in on this the first time, it will come around. If you did, just keep passing it. Can you keep that pen with it? Awesome. Before we jump right into the extra allocations, I'll have Connor come up here and I'll talk with them. If any of you would like to go get food or drinks at this time, that's perfect. But otherwise, come up, Connor, let's get all set up and then we'll jump right into our extra allocations.
Your attention, please. All right, so we are going to move to the extra allocations. So here we have the Psi Beta extra allocation request, and they are asking $1,875 for the trip. They want to go to Chicago for a very good conference. And Psi Beta is a psychology honor society here at GRCC. So we have Connor here. Are you the president? Yes, he's the president, and he's going to present about it. I'm going to explain you the rules. So we only have 5 minutes for presentation, and you can do 5 or less depending on the information that you have. So. But you cannot go over 5 minutes. And we'll have also 5 minutes for questions. I will be tracking the time. Cool. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
I have a stopwatch, Katie, whenever you'd like to start. Cool. Okay, go ahead. Hi, everybody. Like KZ said, my name is Connor Kasuba. I'm the president of Psi Beta. For those of you that don't know, Psi Beta is, it's not actually a club, it's a national honor society for psychology at the community college level. For undergraduate universities, like four-year universities, it's called Psi Chi. Same idea, it's a national honor society for psychology, which is a really interesting possibility for people because it's a lifelong application. If you apply and you're accepted, it goes along with you. You can put it on your transcript, everything like that. So it's a really good opportunity for people and the students here. Moving on with our extra allocations, so what we'll be attending in Chicago, it's the Midwestern Psychological Association Conference. This is a conference held every year in Chicago, and it's just a place for predominant psychologists in America and other countries to come in. Different presentations are done, either just normal speeches, people are presenting their research that they've done, and it's a wide range of different topics, areas of interest, and just everything that people are doing. For us, it gives us a really interesting opportunity to see what research is being done currently, what areas are very prominent right now in psychology, and that can help the students understand, maybe these are areas that I would like to go into as well, because that is where the research is. Another good thing with the conference is that some of the presenters are actually PhD graduate students. They might be doing just simple presentations. They may be doing presenting on their dissertations, which is what you do to finally get your PhD. So for the students that are attending, we get to see if that is a step you want to take in your education. You can understand, okay, this is what they're doing, and to be, invited to this conference, these are people that are doing the right things. So we get to see the students do the right things, and they're getting pretty far with that. With the students that are attending, it's not open to our entire student body or to Psi Beta. The people that are attending are the Psi Beta officers. Just with that, it's just with the hotels and the train and everything like that, it's really hard to take those extra people with us. We wish we could, but what we plan on doing is the officers that are attending, it's going to be myself, the president. We have Kim attending as well, which is the vice president, and then our secretary, which is Logan, she'll be attending as well. After the conference, we are going to hold an open meeting, which is where all of our Psi Beta members can come, and for all of our open meetings, any person interested in psychology can come and listen. And what we plan on doing is taking those presentations that we listened to and attended to at the conference and just kind of summarizing them, giving the information to all of those students so they can see where, same thing that we're learning there, where psychology is going, what people are doing in the field, and so we can get people interested in psychology. I think that's about it. I don't know.
We have a minute and a half if you want to talk about anything else, but it's up to you.
Okay. I'll just add in, just with us attending this conference and being able to present that to the students, we're going to hopefully create more interest in Psi Beta. I know in previous years, talking to past advisors of the club, it's kind of been hard to get people involved in this. And, you know, being a community college, a lot of people, you know, they come to class and they boogie right out. So hopefully with this, we can show interest in Psi Beta and hopefully to become either a member or an officer, knowing that these opportunities are there and available. Along with that, we hope to, you know, create just a bigger interest, I guess, in the whole psychology department here at GRCC. It's a really great department. I've got to meet a lot of the professors. It's a great place. They're all wonderful people, and we just hope to create a long-lasting membership in Psi Beta and interest in psychology here at GRCC.
All right, now we have time for questions. Go for it.
Yes, Dr. Connor will be attending, and also our Psi Beta advisor, Dr. Wolf, will be there as well, along with the 3 officers.
Any other question?
Can you run down like the days of the trip? So like you're heading down on what day?
Okay.
And what happens each day? Just so people that don't know the conference can kind of figure out what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so on Wednesday, which is April the 11th, we're going to be heading down early in the morning. And the conference actually doesn't start till that Thursday, but that's just going to give us time to get into the hotel, get situated. Dr. Connor has a whole itinerary planned. He knows where to go eat, you know, what to do. So hopefully, I think there's a plan to maybe go to a museum or something like that. Then on Thursday and Fridays, those are full days of the conference. And there's different presentations going on all at the same time. So us students and the faculty, you just pick and choose which ones you want to go to based on your interests, which ones look interesting and whatnot. On Saturday, it's about half a day, same structure. Choose the ones you want to go to, and then that Saturday, we're going to be taking the train back here.
I noticed that the hotel cost is your highest cost, and I assume that's because of the gender split between your officers. But that also means that per person it's $145, not including the hotel. So I was wondering if you might consider, like, did you at all consider like taking another member from your club to fill that other space in the hotel?
Yeah, our treasurer, Max, he's a male as well, and we opened it up for him to come. We had planned on him coming, which would mean that he would be in the room with me. He can't make it. I'm not sure exactly for what reasons, but that's kind of where that comes in. I had talked to Student Life because I'm not sure if they had done it this way in previous years. I had mentioned about possibly doing, you know, males and females in one room to cut cost, but they said that, you know, there's a policy against that, which that's probably better that we do it that way anyways.
Any other question?
My question is about your food budget. Where did you come up with this additional number?
I had talked to Dr. Connor and Dr. Wolf and just kind of roughballing it, just to, based on, well, Dr. Wolf hadn't been, but Dr. Connor had gone in previous years, and this was just a rough estimate of how much he had hypothesized on what had been spent in previous years. Along with that, we have some meals are going to cost more than others, just with the simplicity of putting it down on the form. I just kind of rough estimated that because the breakfast at the hotel, I'm sure, is not going to cost $10, but possibly a dinner later is going to cost more, and hopefully those will balance out.
What hotel is this being held at?
I can't think of the hotel, but the conference is in the hotel. It's
O'Hare, by chance?
no, not the O'Hare.
Is that the Sheraton?
It's not the Sheridan. I'm sorry, I can't think of it.
$30 a day actually for Chicago seems very, very low.
That was my concern with the food as well.
Okay.
Because previous years my club has been going there. This year our allocation request is for a different city.
Okay.
And our primary reason for citing our new location was cost. So seeing that low, if you're having the allocation request help the food, is looking at it, I would assume that almost half your food expenses would be out of pocket at that point.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to probably make a motion to double their food budget, which would bring it up to the extra allocation request to 2140.
We also do have, within Psi Beta, in our funds, we do have $1,400 available to us, along with the $200 for this semester's allocations. I'm not sure if that's something that we would want to use on food and save it for something else, but that is also an option that we can do. Yeah, and that was my first instinct on doing that, but just another option there as well.
You have 30 seconds. Any last questions? I think we're set.
All right, so I motion that we move to the voting.
Actually, I would like to make a motion to, I can't remember what the word was, but
To increase
the budget by $270, which would make it $2145
For the food expense?
for total with the food.
To increase
Thank
for
you so
the
much.
food
You can take a
expense.
seat.
Yes.
I think before we jump right into that, Ryan, I think maybe we should have a little bit of discussion about it. So before, if anyone would like to second Ryan's motion, you may, but I'd like to instead motion for a chance to discuss this. This is something that we do in our bylaws about further discussion on an extra allocation after the 10 minutes have been used. So does anyone want to second me to motion to discuss an increase on their proposal? Okay. No? Yeah, I saw a second with Malcolm, so we're set. So again, yeah, I think Ryan's idea might be the way to go. I think there's two options here if we want to increase it. It would be, right now it's $10 per meal per student per day. Or, yeah. So that's $30 per student because there's 3 meals in a day. With Ryan's idea, we'd be doing $20 per meal. I think the other option is 15 and just cut that in half. Any thoughts there? I haven't actually been to Chicago myself, so I don't really know how much it costs to eat there. But yeah, Malcolm?
I was gonna say last year when Standout went to Chicago for Mumble Tech, we actually had to go like from our hotel to Navy Pier, and like we had to eat out in the city, and we did $15 for every meal, and that was actually pretty good for us. I know Chicago is expensive, but there are also inexpensive places to eat there, and like even the times that we all ate out together as a group, like we went to a pizza place and it wasn't too much, and we all were pretty comfortable within those $15. So if that helps anyone else.
I think I prefer that as well, but it's really up to the general student body. Morgan?
It depends on where you are in Chicago. So like, since Chicago is very large, so like being able to walk to Navy Pier is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. But at the same time, if you're in like way away from there, you're not gonna find this decent pricing. So
that is a good point. Yeah.
Good questions, or good concerns. Theo?
I also, when we went to Mumble Tech, it would have been nice to have that be a little bit more flexible. So if you had like a cheaper meal, like say a cheaper breakfast, being able to use that money for say dinner would have been helpful. Well, which we were able to do day to day, but not like between days. So making that more, I guess, flexible would be great. Like having it be a $90 budget, and whatever you spend that $90 on in food over the conference.
Well, it is, I believe, a $90 budget per student right now.
Yeah.
So it'd either be going to 135 or 180.
But having like a pool that they could then.
Yeah.
Pooling instead of set amount per day.
Yeah.
Which I had kind of gone under the assumption you were going to be considering it an estimate based on you have this available to you for the week or the 3 days.
Yeah, my understanding was, like you said, some meals are going to be cheaper than others. I assume probably our breakfast and our lunch was going to run somewhere $8, maybe $10, but mostly around $8. So then that extra money could be used for that dinner.
Is there anyone who's not necessarily for the idea of increasing their budget? Because it's totally reasonable for us here to decide that they should pay for food out of their own pocket because we're funding their trip. I'm not saying that I feel that way. I'm just putting it out there. because I don't want to exclude any opinions just because it's not necessarily with what we've motioned and talked about just now. Yes.
I by no means am saying no to the increase, but I was just doing some looking really quick. It's at the Palmer House Hilton in downtown, and breakfast is continental. I don't know if you were taking that into consideration with the times you wake up in during the day, if you're trying to like wake up late, sleep in, whatnot, but there are guidelines to times where you can wake up and have free continental breakfast.
Okay, my understanding was that it wasn't continental, that you still had to pay for it, so that's.
Okay.
During conferences, they'll cut the content.
Okay, okay, that didn't go into guidelines here, so that is definitely a possibility. I just seen it, so I thought I'd bring it up.
You can't always trust conference foods too, because like at ASGA, there was free breakfasts, but they were crappy and they ran out immediately. Okay, I think the best way to decide this would honestly be a vote before we vote approval. I think we should vote whether we want to increase it to $15 or $20 per person per meal. I think that's honestly the best way. So we're essentially increasing the total proposal by either $135 or $270. Is everyone all right with that? Can I get a second to motion to vote for this? Thank you. So I'll start with all those in favor of increasing it to 15 opposed to 20. Please raise your hand at this time. I can't vote.
Wait, 15 opposed to 20?
Yeah.
Oh,
Per
okay,
person.
sorry, I read it.
Or per meal, yeah. What would you guys prefer?
20.
It honestly does look like we have a lot of people that are encouraging 20. Those that are, that's a great question. Do you have a guesstimate? I mean, we have plenty, but I think it's around 18,000. All right. All those in favor of $20 opposed to their $10 currently set. Okay, cool. So we're changing that request. Ryan, what did you say that was? 21? 45. Thank you. So thank you for that discussion, guys. That didn't really take too long, just a few minutes. Now we just have we have to approve or deny. We'll start with an approval and then we'll move to the denial. All those in favor of approving Psi Beta's request right now, please raise your hand at this time. Could I have Caitlin, while you're still here, count up those, or Tatum, both of you, honestly, just so we get a good count. There is unanimous decision. I don't see a single hand down. I don't know how many people here. You guys can put your hands down. It's okay. We can just count the people in the room. All right. Thank you. Can we get a round of applause to Connor for giving the first presentation for Psi Beta? Thank you so much for making this meeting, Connor. I appreciate having you here. All of us last time we reviewed this were just excited to talk with you, but we were a little bit disappointed when you didn't show up. But we're happy to have you here now, and we're glad that you came to present.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll invite my friends from Anime Club up here so they can get set up and just kind of get their nerves out before they jump right into presenting before a very, very tough crowd here. Let me pull up your presentation. No?
There's a conference area, ballroom area, whatever that would be considered, but yeah. Palmer's are great.
Yeah, I've never been to this.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the bus?
Because he said he wanted one. All right, thank you. Give us just a minute before you guys start. I need to get my phone set up, and KZ will run you in like always. Yes, that camera stays on. So just careful not to be immediately in front of it. Oh, it happens. I mean, if you've watched those recordings, I've walked in front of it and been in front of that camera so many times. It's honestly painful when I rewatch our videos. It's like,
I assume it was
so embarrassing. Yes, no problem. Because I wasn't ready for you to talk.
Don't worry. We don't actually need to keep this one.
Are you actually gonna keep it?
I gotta get going at class right now. So. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I could just put it in right now.
Your attention, please. We are back to the business again. So we have this lovely extra allocation request from Anime Club, and they are requesting about $3,000. And we have their president here, and they are going to they introduce themselves so that we know who they are, and they know the rules. So 5 minutes, okay? Then go for it. Just.
He has one, I don't need it.
It's just that mine's off.
Yeah, his is off, he wants it for the image.
Yeah.
So, we're actually trying to do an allocation request for, in the PopCon, we used to be going to ASIN in Chicago. I believe, had we still been going to ASIN this year, it would be year 8 of our club going. We've had various things change throughout the years. I remember I found some logs for our first couple of years before I was even a student, going, we only requested enough to cover the hotel rooms, and literally everything else was covered by the student, including the pass to get into the convention. We've now changed it. We cover the hotel room, the pass, and arrange for all of the travel cost compensation because we do carpooling. So, yeah, I made sure that I mentioned some of the reasons why we changed. Our biggest reason to change from Chicago was cost. We were looking at almost $6,000 this year had we tried going to Chicago again. Last year was $4,000, which was a rise of almost $2,000 from what we had tried doing the year before. It was already alarming to us. And the fact that it almost doubled was scary. Additionally, last year, the convention we went to, ASIN, happened to have 17 active ambulance calls, including a DJ who fell 15 feet onto his head at one point. So as a result of that and their management not actively taking a stance on the issue when that happened, we decided to go elsewhere. In Indianapolis, the convention we're going to is actually recognized as a safer one, much better organized. And it's Indianapolis, not Chicago, so costs in general are almost half, which proved helpful because our expenses, instead of being the $8,000 we thought it would be, we even gave our officers by default a VIP pass for how we handle managing our officers at events. And we still are at less than half of what our original expenses would have been through ASIN. The idea of giving the officers the VIP passes was because the way our officers work at conventions, we treat our big convention we do at the end of the year in the summer as a handing off to the next group of officers. So the idea of giving the ones that just went through the entire year being in charge of our crazy group of people, something like this is compensation to give them a way to relax as they're finally not in charge of them anymore. And we felt like it was fair under the circumstances. The way it worked out, again, like I mentioned here, we're doing carpooling. I actually just finished working out the basics on the requirements for that to make sure we could do it. But all in all, the gas is completely covered by students, and we also have students pay partway in on their passes to ensure that A, they're actually going to go and we don't have someone bail on us last second, and to also ensure that the costs are shooting up incredibly high very quickly. So with this, I can show how I figured out a basic estimate for how much the gas would cost. The gas cost will easily change as I find out specifically what cars we have, but I will change the numbers for each car because I don't want to have what happened last year. We got someone that gave a driver a hybrid the same amount of gas money that we gave someone who drove a 15-year-old SUV. So the guy with the hybrid ended up with almost $100 left over in his pocket by the time we got back to Grand Rapids. Well, I don't think he saw that as a problem because we're trying to balance out what everyone's getting. It was a little hectic. So the idea of trying to balance this out so we know what everyone's getting is very helpful. The idea of doing all of this, I wrote that wrong. The idea of doing all of this so we know what's happening with all of our paperwork, so we know what each car is as far as cost goes, is very helpful for us because we can make sure the costs stay lower. And actually we ended up choosing a different hotel than our first choice here as well because this one is, instead of being adjoined to like we've always done in Chicago, we are now about a 10-minute walk away, but between the hotel room we're staying at and the convention, There are, I think, 12 restaurants, and we are about 2 blocks away from where their run of food trucks are going to be, so there's plenty of supply of food for everyone. For the way we handle our events, everyone is responsible for their own food. We do arrange the travel, we do cover the hotel costs and passes. We feel like that's fair in the balance because we are taking 15 of our members as well as our officers. But, yeah, that would be.
Have 50 seconds if you want to say any more.
You got anything you want to put on there?
I feel the fact that we're not in Chicago anymore is good because with those 2 blocks away, I don't have to fear being stabbed anymore.
That's a good point. We were in Rosemont, in fairness, so it wasn't anywhere near as bad. But we did want to go downtown at one point.
I mean, now you're in Indianapolis and just have to worry about Ohioans.
Wrong state.
Doesn't matter, they still go there.
10 seconds.
I think we're all set.
All right, so we are moving to the questions. Is there anyone who has a question?
I actually have a few questions. So you said you had a total of 20 people going and you only had 4 rooms. What's that math?
Our setup is we have our rooms set up. We're going to have maybe 5 people for each room.
Are you sure your hotel is good with that?
We chose that based off of the policies from hotels.
Okay.
They require a 5 max in every place unless you arrange separately.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we have built off of that. We had done it a couple of times in Chicago, and when I went to try and do the same setup in Indianapolis, I made sure that the hotel didn't have an explicit rule against it. They said a max was 6 at this current place we're going to.
Okay. My other one is, can you explain your logic behind officers getting VIP passes and other members not? Because I'm kind of confused on that.
We have any other member can actually pay the extra to go up to VIP.
I understand that.
Yeah, we're not going to, the cost compensation from that, we've given it to the officers as a way to try and give access to some of the extra materials built in for all the extra whatever we've done throughout the year to get this event off the water, plus our cosplay day before it, which is actually in a month before the event. So the way it worked out, our original plan for doing that was as a form of planned relaxing, or more private areas, so you're not in the big bulk of noise that we already hear at our club anyhow. However, we had originally put that actually in response to us going, holy crap, this is so much cheaper than when we went to Chicago, and put it in there originally and didn't notice that it was still there until we were 3 weeks away from putting in the allocation request, and our numbers were still so much lower than had we gone to Chicago. We decided to keep it. Was honestly how it stayed in the form this long. But with that expense being only $100, worst case, we can still have the officers pay even just a portion of that to keep costs lower.
Do you think that's fair between the officers and your other member?
For the way this is currently running and how this event and our previous events plus Cosplay Day is running, we had actually originally thought of offering some of our more active volunteers for Cosplay Day the ability to get that as well. And we might still do that based off of the extra funds we have on our own for our club, because I believe we currently have just short of 1,500. So we could use that if we have people that are actually volunteering in our events that can't quite make that 100. We can easily use that. And I intend to have some form of way to be able to do that with our members who are active participants.
And then with that, you said that you wanted to bring 20 people. What was your selection process for that? Or
We are selecting it for the amount of 20 people?
Yeah. So was that based on the selection process or just whoever wanted to go?
It's based off of everyone who wants to go. It lets us know we have. We basically take how active they are with our club and go from there. So if you show up once every other semester or something, you're not going to be able to go. But if someone who shows up every week and offers to do volunteering and all that will very easily be able to go unless they're not able to themselves for a separate reason.
Or behavioral problems.
Yeah, last year we had to start enforcing a behavior restriction because we have a couple of members of our club that have some severe behavior issues that we did not trust them and still do not trust taking them to a public place that isn't part of the college or any open environment in the larger scheme. So we do have that as a restriction that we have to feel confident that you're not going to be causing giant scenes or major issues at a convention where we are out of state, multiple hours away from home. But aside from that, it's open to anyone to even just apply. Even just volunteering for Cosplay Day, if you don't actively show up to our club, still puts you heavy into consideration. The attendance will usually be our final decider. Someone who shows up every week is going to be more likely to be able to go than someone who shows up now and again.
kind of a dual question. I guess I'll start following on Marcus's
Yeah.
last thing. I liked how you described who's going, or like how you're choosing that. And I think when we talked before, you mentioned a few things of just like, will you be including how active a student has been in other aspects of the college, like student engagement?
We are building off of our method from last year, which volunteering in general at all events are counted. Because this year, our big event for the year that has taken us 8 months now to plan is happening before our trip. We are counting that one separately, but that will have a separate consideration just because of the amount of effort involved in it. We already have volunteers that offered to help back in December. So those people will have a separate consideration than basic, just volunteering in any event on campus. But as long as we can see or have a way to get a message from a different organization that yes, they volunteered for such and such event, that does go into consideration for being able to go for our trip.
All right, so the time is up and we are not taking any more questions. So I motion that we move to the voting. Who is going to second me? All right.
Did you want to take care of it, Casey?
All right, so we are going, who want to approve this request? So who is for this proposal? Raise your hand right now if you approve this request. All right, so just keep your hand up, so because some people are counting, I guess. Okay, so who is against the request? All right, so I think you guys got it. So we'll just count, we will just need to know the number of people, so we can just clap for them, please.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Thanks for the mic back. Did you turn it off?
It was never on.
Oh, I see.
Things he said, he just yelled through the microphone because he thought it looked cool.
Interesting.
Nostalgia.
Sorry.
He did it for style points.
That lemonade is kind of destroying my throat, and I don't know why. I feel very parched. I feel like I'm puckering my mouth, and I just want to. Ugh. It's so good, though. I could drink more. So let's do a brief recap. We approved Psi Beta's request of $2,145. We approved Anime Club's request of $3,000. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Can we get another round of applause just for everyone who took the time to prepare their presentations, come here. Thank you, Dom. Thanks, Connor, when he was here. He's gone now. Miss him already. Let's see. We have a few more things on the agenda today. More of a presentation, I'd say, on mine. And I have you guys for at least around 30 minutes left. I'll make sure to leave time for club comments towards the end. So if you guys want to announce anything coming up, you'll have time for that. Whew. Give me a second to catch my breath. Don't know why I'm out of breath. Maybe I should start working out more. Let's see.
You're in better shape than I am.
I try, but I'm like way underweight. I don't eat enough, I guess, even though I feel like I eat everything. It's a metabolism thing.
So,
You got this, Ryan. You look great. See, but when I'm stressed, I just eat more. It's great.
that's why I do it.
So post-spring updates. I wrote it like that because I felt like there were a few things that I just needed to retouch on since we had spring break, and it's honestly been about a month since you guys were sitting in this room with me. So I'll start with the second bullet point since that's a little bit more important. Actually, I don't know if I'd say it's more important. It's just easier to talk about. So we previously had a request for Student Alliance. We were going to make a donation or a sponsorship to the ScholarFest 2018. If you guys remember, that was going to be $10,000 total. $8,000 of that was coming from our Student Alliance budget that we have left over. $2,000 was going to come from the extra allocation budget that was left over. That ended up getting denied. We approved it here, but all of those ultimately do go through Student Life, and Lina has to give us the final say. The only reason that did get denied is because it's an issue of spending funds. Let me explain that and break that down for you guys. So our extra allocation funds cannot go towards scholarships because it would be unfair to spend money out of this on one specific student towards a scholarship. That makes sense, right? Like, I can't just say, hey, Caitlin, you've done great in Student Alliance. Make a request, you get $2,000 next year. It just cannot work like that. So while ScholarFest 2018 is an event that's happening, it's an event where they're going to be honoring students who got scholarships from Foundation Board, and they're taking donations from big donors who are outside of the college. They're taking donations from people in the college, and all of those donations ultimately go to Foundation so we can give more students scholarships. Unfortunately, by donating or sponsoring an event or sponsoring ScholarFest, that's essentially us just giving that money towards a scholarship, which only fundraised funds can go towards scholarships. If any of you, like Dom mentioned, that they have $1,500 fundraised, if Anime Club decided that they wanted to make a selection process and do a scholarship out of that, they could. But since Student Alliance doesn't necessarily do fundraisers, we have a few funds left over, carrying over from fundraisers when we had really active members doing that. But because we're just allocated money out of the student activities fee, it's not right for us to spend that money on a scholarship. Let me explain how this was done in the past and why a Student Alliance team was able to sponsor this. I was interested in doing this extra allocation because I saw that Student Alliance in the past had donated $10,000 towards one of these events. That was during our 100-year celebration for GRCC, where we celebrated just our college existing for that long. It was a gala event. And what Student Alliance did was they literally paid for a table at this event that was $10,000. This was a huge event, much bigger than the one that's currently going on. And they were taking donations from all part of the college to host this event, make it go on, and then have leftover money from the donors that goes towards the scholarship. Unfortunately, we can't do that this year because they don't need help funding their event to happen. It's a smaller thing. It's just their typical 2018 ScholarFest. And we're not going to be able to do the same thing that a previous Student Alliance year had done. And that's essentially that. I just wanted to let you guys know that's not going through. So the $2,000 we allocated for that is just going straight back into extra allocation budget. It essentially never left. And the $8,000 that we were setting aside for our budget is just sitting in our budget. We'll try to find another cool way to spend that and get it out to all of the students before the year ends, because you guys gave us some cool suggestions when we had those min-max tables and we were asking you for suggestions on how to spend the rest of the extra allocation. My favorite thing off of that was monthly tabling with snacks and stuff in the student center, I believe. It was like just giving food out to students. That sounded pretty fun. Cool. Next thing, Student Alliance applications. The deadlines for that is coming up. I wanted to encourage any of you guys who are returning next year to consider taking a position in Student Alliance. It's a wonderful leadership role. It is a position where you are paid, and you're paid to develop leadership and work side by side with all of the administrators at the college. Like, I work very closely with Lina, Talia, Chris, Brene, everyone in our student life office, of course, because that's where we're most connected. And they're really just mentors with me. I'm sure many of you have met them too because you're involved with student orgs. But as this position, I'll just run through my requirements so you have an idea of what a president for Student Alliance has to do. I have to meet one-on-one with Lina, so that's where that connection with my administrators come in. I'm a representative on SLT, which is our strategic leadership team, and that's the team that brings one person from every aspect of the college together. There's 130-something people in a room when they have these meetings, and they talk about the big overarching goals of the college, like infrastructure and stability and making sure all of our campus is safe, equity, so that we're being equitable to all of our students, completion, so we're helping all of our students get through their college education and go to where they want to go, teaching and learning, so that our faculty and staff here have all of the resources available and that we can make changes that are accommodating new advancements or new innovations that happen in the world. Let me give an example of that. Radio tech and nursing are huge programs here on our campus. And nursing, as you are aware, is an exploding industry that so many more jobs have opened up in the last decade or 5 years. So along with that, there's a lot of new programs or a lot of new technology that helps train nurses in their field. And that's what the college is investing in with something like that, teaching and learning. We're helping make all of our programs better so we can train students better and send them to four-year colleges more prepared. The same thing can apply to any different program we have here, like our workforce development, our automotive technologies. Just give you a few examples. And the final one that I'm a part of is community impact. These are the 5 different groups that I just named for you. Each of these are a big tree on what the goals of the college are. And since I'm in a community impact table, we're focusing on the campus climate and how we make the campus more relevant to the issues that we care about as students. Like, how do we get our students jobs? How do we get our students internships and job shadows and all of the important things they need to be successful? As a med student, I know I need internships and medical qualifications. I need hours in a clinic of some sort. And that's what this tree essentially is trying to do or make better at our college. So that's SLT. I feel like I've already been talking about it for forever, but that's just one responsibility. We have a foundation board that I'm a representative on. Don't honestly do a lot for that. I just attend and I see what's going on in the big financial aspects of the college. That's what they handle. And then I'm a representative for the student conduct hearing committee. Lina's in charge of that. It's a team that focuses on interpersonal issues, essentially. If there's behavioral problems on campus, I'm a part of a team that reviews those type of things and tries to help those troubled students. And then, of course, there's running these meetings and working with my cool team. 5 office hours a week are the only required office hours that I have to do, but you can find me on campus every day, every hour. But that's a president position. I'm telling you guys all of these because while I listed them off, they're not totally clear, and you might not be sure what those things actually give you. Like a student alliance position is really amazing to me because you get the chance to join all of these teams that you would never see otherwise. As a student coming to the college for my first year last year, fall 2016, I believe it was, I had a pretty good idea of how to work in a team. I mean, I had gone through high school and I had worked in teams on all kinds of group projects. If my group slacked, I just did all the work myself. I mean, that's who I am. I'm a perfectionist. I have to have things done my way. But once I got this position, I actually had the experience of working in a real team, like a real professional environment. And that's not something you get to really experience until you leave college usually. Usually you get a job, and then you start learning all of those professional etiquette. You learn how to properly talk in emails and how to properly have a one-on-one conversation with someone who's higher up than you. But these are experiences I've gotten this year, and I feel very confident and very, very comfortable doing all of these things after my experience with Student Alliance. So on top of that leadership development, there's all kinds of connections you can make regardless of what you're going into. I said I'm a med student. I've made connections with people at this college who work in Spectrum, or who know people who work in Spectrum, in Van Andel Institute, in Mercy Health, and every other hospital in Grand Rapids or the greater Grand Rapids area. But regardless of your major, you'll meet people at this college who can help you and suggest future mentors for you so you can continue to succeed when you graduate here. So with that said, I want to encourage any of you who are returning next year to apply for this position. It's a paid position. You need at least 6 credit hours that you're taking fall and winter semester, but those are the only requirements. Obviously, you have to be in good academic standing, but as long as you're not failing every class every semester, you're fine. Like, you can have a rough semester, but obviously your education comes first. So if you're having a rough semester and you're taking a position like this, we would want you to focus on your education before you continue your responsibilities. That just is obvious. This position is very, very nice with helping you focus on your education while you're doing it. There's Tatum, there's KZ, there's Caitlin. All 3 of them are my vice presidents, and all 3 of them have responsibilities similar to mine. They work in everything I work on, and I try to pass down all of the information I get from those teams to them. So every position has a hand in the college. Every position works with administrators. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. That's what I really wanted to mention there. The applications for those are on OrgSync. You can find them on our Student Alliance page on GRCC. If you go grcc.edu/alliance, that's how you get to our page. You can find a link there. Cool. ScholarFest 2018, this is the cool stuff. This is where you might really be interested because I know I mentioned this at our our town hall last month. But for ScholarFest, when we were donating, we were going to get 6 tickets to bring students along to this event. Even though we're not donating, we're still getting tickets. They gave us to them. They gave us 4, and they're just giving us them for free because they want more students to attend this because it's a really valuable experience. It's very fun. It's very interesting. You get to see all of these cool people get honored for their scholarships that they got through the foundation. Marcus will be there as an award recipient. I will be there as a foundation board member. So much going on. So all of you are welcome to go to that. All of you are welcome to apply for that. How do you do it, you say? Well, let me tell you, OrgSync. Oof, that was so cheesy. I honestly regret saying that.
So what is OrgSync?
It hurts.
What is OrgSync, you say? No. So we made a form on OrgSync that just says ScholarFest 2018 RSVP, I believe, or Student RSVP ScholarFest, something like that. All you have to do is go to OrgSync. You can honestly do it right now on your phone or on your laptop if you want, and you can RSVP to go to that event. We're going to look at all of the applications, so we're going to choose 4 students. If we have a lot of applications, we might do it by random. If we just have a few, we'll have to narrow it down to those who we feel like are most deserving and best suited for this type of event. There's only 2 requirements if you want to go. The first, 3 I guess, but the first one is you have to be a student here. Second one is there is a etiquette training before this event that you have to go to if you want to go to it. That's on March 20th. All of this information is in that form. But on March 20th, I believe that's Tuesday, yeah? Thanks, Marcus. So that Tuesday at 5:30 p.m., there's going to be an etiquette training. It should last a little over an hour. And if you can make that on Tuesday, then you're more than welcome to go to the event. And the event itself is going to be on the 27th, I believe. That's the following Tuesday, 6 to 9. So as long as you can make those 2 events, the training beforehand and then the actual ScholarFest, you are more than welcome to come with us to that. I say us because me and Marcus are both going without these tickets. I think that covers that. I'd love to take questions and talk about that more with you guys. I saw one question here. Please go ahead.
After you eliminate or I guess go through the process of choosing who would be able to get them 4 tickets, depending on the amount of people that apply for the option or possibility to go, what's the date that you'll be choosing people to be able to go to that etiquette training?
Yeah, that is a good question. Since etiquette training, it is super short notice. I wanted to give this information to you last collaborative, but we didn't have the exact date of the etiquette training yet. And we also weren't sure how many tickets we were getting, so it was tough to make a form for that right away. But let me give you the real answer. Tomorrow. Submit your RSVP today. We're going to make a request tomorrow night based on who has applied on this RSVP of who's going to go. I have to send your names to Mary from the foundation so that she can follow up with you and send an email with all the information. Yes?
And 27th also, I might be mixing the dates up, the student leadership banquet.
I think that's the 29th at the John Ball.
The 29th?
That's Thursday that week. There's so much going on that week, right?
Is that Thursday or was that Saturday? I thought the 29th was Saturday.
I'm sorry, friend. It's a Thursday.
Yeah, it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, no, you're right.
5:30 on the Thursday is when doors open.
Okay.
I'll touch on the banquet in just a second because that's exciting. That's coming up. So again, if you're interested in that, just fill out that form. It's super short. We ask your name. We ask a preferred method of contact. I think we ask your email on there too.
Code for this ScholarFest.
Ooh, it's business casual. And the etiquette training, I don't know if you have to dress up at all. I think it's just.
Okay, because I know some of these events is like black tie. I'm like, I'm not going to spend $300 on like rental.
I feel the same way about Catalyst coming up. Like, I don't have a suit. What do I do? I'm sorry. Well, I'm not saying that I hate it. I just mean I don't have a tuxedo. What do I do? I have to rent one.
Extra allocation request.
So what else is coming up with that? So yeah, tomorrow night is when we're going to decide on the 4 people. On that form, we ask your email. So once we decide on who's coming, we'll contact you via that email. There's a preferred method of contact. That's where you should fill out anything that you check regularly so you know that you got accepted into this. You can put your number and we'll text you it. You can put another email and we'll email that too. Whatever you prefer. If you want us to message it to you on Tinder, you could put your Tinder profile. I don't know. Add anything you want.
This is why you don't let Kale have free reign on these.
Kale's trying to say that he has a Tinder profile.
No, no one does.
I already swiped.
What is Tinder?
Kale,
What?
you didn't know we made one for you?
I have one. I don't know.
All right.
It's inactive.
Yeah, he doesn't have one.
So I think that covers the etiquette training. Oh, there's one more thing with that. Someone asked me last month about the etiquette training, whether you can go if you're not going to not going to ScholarFest. Unfortunately not. The only people who can go to this are the people who are going to ScholarFest 2018. I would love to have more people go and just get trained because it's fun knowing what etiquette is. Like, I have no idea. It's going to be new to me. But unfortunately not. You can only go to that if you're going and get accepted.
People there that are against, that would prefer not to be put in a situation where I'd be a smartass?
Yes. How do I respond to that?
No, I'm saying
Yeah, any more questions before I go on to the next topic? Go ahead.
Where would the etiquette training be taking place?
Ooh.
Is it here or another location?
Good question. It's in ATC. It's in first floor ATC. I have it in my email. I got you. 1 second. I'll give you the exact answer. Yeah, there'll be signs and stuff to help you find it in the ATC too. You'll also get an email that has all of this information once you get accepted. Where is my email from Mary? There we go. It is, yeah, ATC room 122, first floor. Any last questions about that? I think we're set.
Is it a dinner or is it just like hot dog?
I believe it's a dinner. I believe it's a dinner and then a present.
For a while, like before the event starts, then you go into this massive room, they serve a very, very large dinner.
Oh.
Come with an empty stomach. And then they present a bunch of awards and different things in their speeches, and then you're done.
Nice.
I'm just afraid that there's going to be some bosses there.
Well, exactly what Morgan said. There's going to be a dinner. It's not something you want to miss if you can go to it. Definitely apply. Let's see. The last thing I want to talk about today are, before I go to that 2018-19 club changes and discussion, I think I should touch on that sheet I gave out to you. So I gave you this weird sheet that I haven't done before this semester. I did this off of taking a document we got from ASGA. We were taught that we need to understand our constituents. We need to know who we're serving, who's working with us, who's helping us. But all of you guys are our constituents. Like, we need to know what you care about. So this document is important because it follows up on what we talked about at the president's meeting that we had. And it follows up on the meeting we had after that, which I believe was our collaborative last month. Essentially, I want to get an idea of who's attending this meeting for which club. I want to know if that person's staying next year, so I know if they can continue to come to these type of things. And then I want to know what you care about, because as a member attending this semester and possibly a member attending next semester, your interests should be the interests of Student Alliance as a whole. If I'm not doing something that you guys care about, why am I not doing that? Like, why am I doing other things if you guys don't care about the things I'm doing? Like, I should be serving you, essentially. So I'm sorry if any of this is personal information. Fill out however you want. Be as honest as you want to be, I guess. Don't lie to me, please. Let me talk about the weird things on this. The major issues / topics that have been important to you this school year. Anything can be in there. You can talk about the Indigenous Peoples Day proposal that we started on this fall again and that was worked on last year. You can talk about just hosting cool events on campus, like all the stuff CAB is doing and all the BASU events. If those are the things you actually care about, write that. That's interesting. It's good to know that our students care more about events than they do legislation, if that's the case. And I gave you a few examples, like, I'm not going to read them all off. Let's see. The last question on there, I guess, is where this really ties into the president's meeting. Because if you are the most active attendee for your club, I want to know if you're willing to essentially test run a senator position that I'm hoping to instate for next year. At the president's meeting, we essentially talked about having one set representative from every club, and that we know who that representative is, and that we can give them an officer position on Student Alliance, so they're not just attending these and don't have anything they can put on a resume. And I think all of you guys have done a lot of work in these meetings. All of you guys have attended these meetings, so you deserve to get recognized for that. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do with those senator positions this semester, but I do want to test run it and try to give you positions on OrgSync. If you say yes, I'm going to try to give you an officer position on OrgSync right away. I'm going to contact you about maybe a committee. That's the one thing I mentioned on there. You're not going to get any extra responsibilities by saying yes, but I may ask you if you're interested in doing something like that, because the senator is essentially, let me recap what we settled on. Every club will have one senator. That senator is essentially doing the same thing you guys have done this year. You're just getting a fancy title for it now, which is attending all of the meetings, not being able to miss 2, and you're the set representative for your club. It doesn't mean other people can't come, it just means that you're the one we expect to show up at every single meeting. And then a senator position would have a little bit of requirements. The first requirement, obviously, would be attending these meetings. The second requirement would have to do with committee work, because committees are where we actually get all of our projects done. This year, we just did it through eBoard, which is pretty straightforward. But next year, they might split that eBoard up into committees so they can focus on projects with people that actually care about the projects. And I used this as an example last time, and I'll use it again. With the Indigenous Peoples Day proposal, that could have been a committee at the start of last fall. I would have been one of the members of that committee, and I would have selected a chair for it. I said before that I would have selected Druin because Druin was very, very active in trying to make that proposal a reality, and he would be in charge of that. And then if all of you guys were senators right at the start of last fall, I would ask essentially who's interested in joining this committee and making our meeting times. We'd set a time that works for everyone. We'd meet like once a month, and then we'd just hammer out a little bit of work with that proposal until it's done. It honestly would have gotten done with like 2 or 3 months, just if we had a committee. Committees are the best way to get through proposals because you cannot add all this information and get everything done that we want to get done at eBoards. It's just impossible. I learned that this year. So I think this is necessary for next eBoard of Student Alliance. So that's why I'm test running it, because I think it's important. So after you guys fill these out, if you could either just flip them over and leave them on your table at the end, we can collect them. If you want to come up here and hand them to me, I will do that too. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad I wasn't handed this.
Is there anyone who has not filled in the sign-in sheet, the attendance sheet? Because if so, you need to do that. Thank you so much. Hello, yes.
Can I just take this to my first meeting for my club?
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want extras for anyone else to fill out? You don't have to, though. For turning that in afterwards, I think the best place would be, you can either drop it off in the Office of Student Life, since I'm in there all the time, I can pick it up from them. Or you could take a picture and email to me if you wanted to. My email's on our Student Alliance page, it's also on OrgSync, so you could find
Can I
that there.
scan it?
Yeah, that works perfect too. Cool. I think that covers everything I really wanted to talk about. The 2018-19 club changes was exactly that. That's what I think is going to be important. Let's go to club comments while we are at 3:25. I'll start with Lina because I saw her hand shoot up.
Just to reinforce what Kale was talking about, Student Alliance applications are due tomorrow. And then CAB, Campus Activities Board, is now seeking applicants for, or letters of intent to run for positions with Campus Activities Board. So that has been posted on the Student Life Facebook page and OrgSync, so please take a look at that if that's something you think you're interested in. And then did you guys talk about the banquet, leadership banquet? RSVPs are due on Sunday. That's a firm deadline because we have to provide numbers to the caterers on Monday morning first thing. So if you or your student organization members have not registered, please, please, please do that right away. If you've applied for group awards, I would highly suggest that multiple members of your group are present. That way, like, when you win, you can go up, get a formal picture, and there's some hype behind your group winning. So, and taking home the big prize. So,
I totally forgot to retouch on the banquet. Thank you, Lina.
yeah, so make sure you guys register for the banquet if you're not already.
Yeah, RSVP this Sunday. Well, I guess the main thing I will mention is that if you weren't aware, we had nominations happen for those awards, those Student Life Awards. Then we had a letter that you essentially had to submit to say why you believe you deserve that award. If you nominated yourself, you submitted that letter. If you nominated someone else, they had to submit that letter for themselves. And now that all of that process is done, awards are being decided, that's Student Life with the responsibility of selecting the winners. We're not going to announce the winners until the night of the banquet. It's going to be totally discreet. You will not know until you get there. So please show up, RSVP for your org, so that someone can be there to accept it and just really share in that excitement as we announce who the winners are for that. We encourage all nominees, so even if you were just nominated, to attend that. Yes, go ahead.
Are all the nominees going to have like a set table for them to sit at, like specifically?
That's a good question.
What's the question?
Oh, how will we organize tables? Like, will we be putting all the nominees for one award at the same table? I think it's just going to be seat yourself.
First come, first serve.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know if you're nominated or not. Like, I know I'm not nominated.
Yep. You would have gotten an email from Student Life, specifically to Leah, she would have said, you've been nominated for the Brian Cloet Leadership Award, or the, oh, there's so many, the Martin Luther King Award, or the New Student Org Award. You would have gotten an email that said you've been nominated and that we want you to submit a letter of intent. Other than that, let's go on to club comments. Anyone else? Would you like to make any announcement of upcoming events, upcoming things you care about? Yes, go ahead.
AWIS finally has their first meeting set. That's for March 26th.
What's that organization at?
Oh, it stands for Association for Women in Science.
Okay.
So we finally have that set date, March 26th.
Nice. Where are you guys meeting?
Huh?
Oh, sorry, you were already going to say it. Where are you meeting?
We're meeting in, that's a good question. I think it's Cook Hall.
Is that posted on your OrgSync?
I don't think so, not yet.
You should do that.
Okay.
Because then I can tell everyone in this room to go check it on OrgSync, and that's how you'll find it.
It's useless. It's useless.
Don't say that, please. You hurt my feelings. I saw one other hand. Did you want to mention something?
Yes. Be Nice is in collaboration with TRIO, student support program, to help try and fundraise for families from the Puerto Rico Hurricane Maria. We're still in collaboration, trying to get some more info on events and everything we're going to do to get that fundraising. But thus far, I believe we are going to be doing a carnival April 19th from 11 to 3, and we do need volunteers if anyone wants to be a part of that. Definitely need volunteers. More info will be coming at our next meeting. I will have a lot more info for this, but that is a base of it. We've already collected some donations from local dentistry places, if I'm saying that properly, like toothbrushes, toothpaste, just some basic necessities, some pencils to be put in like water bottles, and like we're gonna do a Be Nice card. We're gonna write little inspirational quotes and stuff to get people through these hard times.
I love that you guys are doing that. Having the community come together to give donations out for a good cause is always important. If no one else wants to make club comments, I'll mention the last thing. 1 second, Josue. So that week of the banquet and the week of Scholarfest, same week, there's so much stuff going on that day that I just want to run through it. Obviously, Scholarfest is that Tuesday. It's going to be 6 to 9 if you RSVP for that. That Thursday, we're going to have so much going on. It's going to be fantastic. So Student Alliance worked with the CAP team, CAP 1.1.3. That's not necessary to remember. It's a team that's dedicated to campus climate and making our campus more inclusive. So we're bringing in a speaker, and he's going to do 2 workshops that day on leadership development and working within your community. That's going to be 10 to 11, and 1 to 2 is when those 2 workshops will be going on, and they'll be in ATC 122. And then obviously we have that Student Alliance meeting that Thursday. It's our town hall, which is going to be 2 to 3:30. As you saw when Hilda was here, we're probably doing a QPR training on that day. So expect our next meeting to be dedicated to something like that. I won't be there, unfortunately. I'll have Tatum and KZ, my wonderful vice presidents, along with Caitlin, who will be here running the logistics from behind the scenes. They'll be taking care of that meeting for me. And then later that Thursday, we have the banquet going on that starts. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be so busy focusing on that banquet and the workshops beforehand that I won't be here at that meeting. To touch on the banquet, doors open at 5:30. We encourage you to get there as soon as you can because we're going to be seating people, and it's first come, first serve for seating. So if you want a good seat, get there early. 6 o'clock is when we're hoping to have almost everyone in the building registered. You've gotten your favors, you've gotten your free stuff that we're giving out, and you're sat at your table because right after 6, we're going to start essentially a buffet dinner is what we have. Unless you ordered a vegetarian plate, you'll get a plated dinner served to you. But if you don't have a vegetarian option, you're going to be getting it from a large buffet that we have. And before the buffet dinner comes out, there'll be snacks and cool like side dishes up there too. And then the actual banquet will start around 6:45. Just so you know. Cool. I think that covers everything for today. Just wait, you had an announcement, right? Did you want to, Mike, or you said?
Carl is organizing a multicultural night, small thing, karaoke, and presentation from different cultures. going to be on April 5th. This room.
You said it was going to be in this room?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
At what time did you say?
5 p.m. to 7:30.
Okay.
Okay,
Foreign Affairs has actually been planning on doing something, which I realize now that we have to redo our time frame that we want to do it, which we're planning on doing it a week from this upcoming Thursday, which would put us in direct competition with the student leadership banquet.
Yeah.
But we're going to be holding roundtable discussions and panel discussions about different foreign affairs happening in the world. I believe our first discussion is about the Kurdish, rights. One of our guys, Motan, is going to be there, so please come by, learn something. And,
do you know where you guys want to do that?
we're going to probably do it somewhere in Sneak Hall. So it's going to be about 3 weeks from now because I got to message people and tell them we can't do it on that Thursday.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan.
We're originally going to plan to do it this Thursday, but we don't have any plans.
So maybe that first week of April is the Thursday. Is
That would seem like the best.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Meeting is adjourned after this. If any of you would like to talk to me, I'll be here picking up stuff and sticking up after our wonderful math. Oh, I didn't even mention it. We have a ton of shirts. Please grab a free shirt if you'd like a student Lions. We have mediums and smalls now in a box right there.
Oh, so.